I'm coming at you live on tape from Sydney, Ohio. And I think I need crotchless chaps when I sit here like this. Leave a comment if you think I need crotchless chaps when I sit here like this. But today we're talking the Fingerpoke of Doom. The thing that many people think led to the death of WCW. Now, do I believe them? Many things led to the death of WCW. Now, this started at Starrcade when the undefeated Goldberg went up against Kevin Nash. A month, was it a month earlier or a few weeks earlier or something like that? I think it was a month earlier. Now, as I said, Goldberg was undefeated and he was facing the leader of the Wolfpack, Kevin Nash. Now, this match saw interference from Bam Bam Bigelow and Disco Inferno, and finally Scott Hall with the taser, giving Kevin Nash the victory. Now, at this time, WWF and WCW were in a ratings war, and WCW wasn't really winning it still. They were close, but WWF was slightly ahead at this point in history in 1999. Well, in 1998. Because remember, this is a month earlier, in late 98. And Goldberg just dropped the title to Nash. Now, the only person who argued against Goldberg losing the title to Nash was Kevin Sullivan, who said Goldberg shouldn't take a loss. Now, Nash came out then, a couple of weeks later, and said he didn't like the way that he won the title from Goldberg, and offered to give Goldberg a rematch on the next week's show. Now, Hulk Hogan at this point had retired a month earlier, had went on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno a month earlier and had retired, and Scott Steiner was the leader of NWO Hollywood. This is all very important. WWF taped their show a week in advance for the January 4th show. And on the January 4th show, Mick Foley, as Mankind, had won the WWF World title. Now, WWF had spoiled this on their website when he won it, hoping to put viewers on the screen, because no one deserved the WWF title more, except maybe Al Snow, than Mankind, than Mick Foley, who had put his body on the line in so many matches that nowadays he can barely move. Now, on the January 4th Nitro, at the beginning, Goldberg got arrested. We didn't know what for yet, but we knew he got arrested, putting the title match in jeopardy. We later learned it was for aggravating stalking of Miss Elizabeth. It was originally going to be for rape, but Goldberg turned that down, saying, "Why would I rape that shriveled old prune?" No, he did not say that. But he did turn the rape angle down. So Goldberg is at the police station. Now, he eventually gets let go due to the fact that Miss Elizabeth can't keep her story straight, and he has to make it to the arena in time to face Kevin Nash. Now, this is a problem in the booking, because in the booking he doesn't, but in real life, the police station is across the street from the arena in Atlanta. It's across the street from the Georgia Dome. Now, I figure Goldberg fears walking. He's afraid to walk across the street. So, he had to find a cop who could give him a ride when they're off duty, because cops can't give people a ride on duty across the street, because that would break EPA standards or something. So Kevin Nash sees Hulk Hogan in the building, and he decides to give the challenge to Hulk Hogan for the title, since Goldberg's not in the building anymore. Tony Schiavone comes on and says, you don't want to tune out of this. We've got 40,000 fans. You don't want to tune out, because on our competition, Mick Foley, who used to wrestle here as Cactus Jack, wins the WWF title, and then says, that'll put butts in seats. And immediately a bunch of people tune out. Mick Foley took offense to that and called his old buddy Tony Schiavone, and Tony Schiavone said, Eric Bischoff made me do that. He put a gun to my head. He threatened my family. He threatened to throw my children off a roof. Eric Bischoff threatened all sorts of things, because Eric Bischoff is not a nice guy. So he apologized to Mick Foley. But immediately a bunch of people tuned out and went to Raw to see the main event of Raw, where Mick Foley won the title. And then they tuned back in the overrun to catch the end of the match between Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan and the infamous Fingerpoke of Doom. In this match, Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash stare down each other at the beginning, and Kevin Nash pushes Hogan into a corner and then taunts him. And then Hogan looks like he's going to punch Nash, but then pokes him in the chest with his finger, and Kevin Nash theatrically goes down. Some people describe it like being hit by a cannon. I think if you got hit by a cannonball, you would not really go down theatrically. You'd go down more like, I just got a big-ass hole in my chest. I don't know, though. I've never seen anyone hit by a cannonball. And I hope I never do. So then Hogan pins Nash. 1, 2, 3. Steiner's out there. Scott Hall's out there. Kevin Nash is out there. They all hug. And then Goldberg arrives to the arena, takes them all out, is beating Hulk Hogan. And then Lex Luger comes out, supposedly to help, but then he turns on Goldberg, and him and the rest of the NWO beat up Goldberg, chain him to the ring, and spray paint NWO in red spray paint on his back. Now the fans, of course, are booing horrendously, and Nitro's ratings were never the same. Now, Nash says he didn't book this because he wasn't on the booking committee yet. Hogan says this wasn't his idea, and Bischoff claims he doesn't remember who came up with this idea. Unlike the Montreal Screwjob that both Jim Cornette and Vince Russo take credit for. So this is an idea so bad, no one knows who came up with it. My thing is, I think Tony Schiavone came up with it just so he could get out of announcing for WCW. Now, on Raw the next week, when they were taping live, you saw people holding up signs that said, Mick Foley put my butt in this seat. And by summer, Raw's ratings were doubling Nitro's, and we all know what eventually happened. People say this was a death bell for WCW. There were a lot of things that killed WCW. And that would be a whole nother video if I went over what killed WCW. But this was one of the things that made people start to tune out of WCW and tune into WWF, because one, WWF was putting the title on people who deserved the title, and two, WCW was doing things like the Fingerpoke of Doom. Join me later this week when we will watch Manos, the Hands of Fate. It's one of my favorite movies. I look forward to mocking it viciously. See you then.